Good evening, you're watching News Today at 9 p.m. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Our top focus continues to be the state of West Bengal, where it's Mamata Banerjee versus ED in battleground Bengal. What we have today for you, 3 exclusive interviews and chats which give you 3 very different points of view. We have exclusively with us Mahua Moitra. Today she was dragged by the police when she and along with other MPs of the TMC were protesting outside the Home Minister's office. We have Swapan Dasgupta, BJP leader, senior BJP leader, former Rajya Sabha MP, who is speaking after many months on India Today right here, giving us the BJP's perspective and, of course, where it comes down to the opposition's claim that all of this is a witch hunt, the weaponization of central agencies. You have Abhishek Manu Singhvi who will be joining us this evening. A political storm brews in Bengal. An investigative raid spiraled into a street showdown, both in Delhi and West Bengal. The Chief Minister stepped out of her office onto the road. The ED said it was enforcing the law. Mamata Banerjee says it's an attack on democracy. And Trinamool leaders protested in Delhi and in Bengal. The battle now stretches from protest sites to the High Court.
Kolkata streets choke with crowds. Slogans rip through the air. And at the head of the march is Chief Minister herself. High drama in Bengal after the Enforcement Directorate raided the office of political consultancy firm I-PAC. Mamata Banerjee on Friday led a massive protest march from Jadavpur to Hazra, accusing the Narendra Modi government of weaponizing the ED to target the TMC.
কিন্তু এটা দুর্বলতা নয় আপনারা মিটিং করলে পেছনে পুলিশ সামনে পুলিশ ওদিকে সিআরপিএফ ওদিকে বিএসএফ ওদিকে আইএসএফ কে না আছে
The confrontation is not limited to Bengal. Hours before Mamata's march, Trinamool MPs took to the streets in Delhi, protesting outside the Home Ministry, alleging vendetta politics. The Delhi police stepped in, taking the TMC leaders into custody temporarily.
You're seeing what is happening to MPs. All our MPs have been picked up. Stop! Governor! Governor! No! 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 Don't do my shot. ये मत करो, ये मत करो.
पहले उनका 10 साल 11 साल कुछ नहीं याद रहते इलेक्शन के टाइम सब ईडी भेजना सीबीआई भेजना उसका याद आ जाते इलेक्शन जीतने के लिए लेकिन जीतेंगे नहीं.
From the streets, the battle moves to the courtroom. The TMC and ED have approached the Calcutta High Court. Severe overcrowding, however, has forced an adjournment. The matter is now listed for January 14. Behind the protests and legal moves are explosive claims by the Enforcement Directorate. According to ED sources, tense scenes unfolded when Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee reached the raid site on Thursday. ED sources allege the Chief Minister took away I-PAC Chief Pratik Jain's phone. The state DGP instructed ED officials not to record recoveries in the Panchnama. ED officers were threatened with arrest if recoveries were shown. 3 ED officials were allegedly outnumbered by dozens of state police personnel and the Chief Minister's Z security. ED claims intimidation and pressure to dilute the incident report. The DGP allegedly threatened FIRs against ED officers. Independent witnesses, ED says, were also harassed. The BJP has gone on the offensive.
The entire action of the Chief Minister is not only unethical, irresponsible, unconstitutional, but she has put the entire democratic process and governance to shame.
The BJP delegation met Governor C.V. Ananda Bose seeking immediate intervention, accusing Mamata Banerjee of unconstitutional conduct and misuse of the state police machinery. With courts stepping in, accusations flying thick and fast and tempers rising, the ED versus Mamata Banerjee showdown is far from over.
ये फाइल ले जाया जा रहा है.
Bureau Report, India Today.
ये फाइल फाइल ले जाई जा रही है यहाँ से।
All right, so I earlier spoke to TMC MP Mahua Moitra, who took part in the protest in Delhi and was detained briefly. Listen in to this exclusive interview. The first question, Ms. Moitra, what you and your other fellow MPs protested today, that is in the ambit of Constitution, you have every right to do so. What happened on the streets of Kolkata, where Mamata Banerjee led a march, you have every right to protest what you feel and deem is unfair use or weaponization of central agencies. But, Ms. Moitra, what is questionable and under scrutiny and should be condemnable, many would suggest, is a constitutional post of the Chief Minister barging into a building which is being investigated and coming in the way of a central agency carrying out or dispensing its duties, the charge of the ED.
What investigation? What are you talking about? The BJP is using every single agency. They have now captured every single agency, every single institution mechanism, whether it's the Election Commission, whether it's the CBI, whether it's the Enforcement Directorate, and they're using it to crush the opposition. What you saw yesterday was no investigation being carried on by the ED. The ED is apparently carrying on some 6 or 7-year-old coal scam investigation, which they are doing on the eve of the Bengal election. What were you doing for 6 or 7 years? What is the predicate offence? Which is the main FIR on which they are coming in? ED can't come in on its own. They need a predicate offence. Which coal scam are they investigating? They've just given an ECR number. Second, I-PAC is nothing to do with the coal scam. I-PAC is not like it's a money lender of the Trinamool. I-PAC is a contractually bound agency which Trinamool Congress has hired and works with purely for election strategy. That is no secret. To say that I-PAC is an agency engaged in dealing with selling salt cellars or doing cement business is ridiculous. Everyone knows I-PAC's offices are TMC's election offices. That is very clear. The Enforcement Directorate came in yesterday. What did they do? They came in on the pretext of some flimsy ECR, and they are carrying on raids for a 7-year-old investigation, Preeti. Does anyone believe this is feasible on the eve of an election when an SIR is going on, when all the parties survey, our candidate list, our election strategy, everything is on the computers and in the files contained in the physical offices, and obviously with Pratik Jain, who is in charge of I-PAC, who is heading our strategy in West Bengal. Number one. The second thing is, the ED is coming in the morning, and they were in the offices of Pratik Jain from in the house and in the offices from, I think, 6 o'clock in the morning to 11:45 in the morning. Our Chief Minister is not just the Chief Minister. Our Chief Minister is also the head of our party. When your house is being robbed, Preeti, you have every right under the law to the right of self-defense to prevent your house from being robbed and your belongings from being taken away. What the Enforcement Directorate was doing was coming in and pure and simple political loot, political robbery and political espionage. If they were going to take the electronic devices and the information relating to our strategy and our data for the election and go and give it to the BJP, which is irretrievably lost. Mamata Banerjee, as the leader of the party, has every right to go in there and try and retrieve what is going on there. What constitutional post are you talking about?
But no, let me explain that, Ms. Moitra. Are you making a distinction then that Mamata Banerjee went into the office of the I-PAC, which was being raided by the Enforcement Directorate in the capacity of a party chief and not as a constitutional post of the Chief Minister? Because the argument, if a Chief Minister does this, federalism is a two-way street.
Yes,
and a Chief Minister doing this will set a dangerous precedent.
She went in, she is also the head of the party chief. She is also, when Amit Shah is the Home Minister of the country. Amit Shah is the Home Minister of the country and Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of the country. During the 2024 elections, Narendra Modi, as a Prime Minister of a secular constitutional democracy, stands in Banswara and says the most ugly mullah, katwa mullah, Mangal Sutra, terrible words for Muslims, dog whistling of the worst order, as the BJP campaigner in head. Or does he say it in the capacity of a Prime Minister? If he's saying in the capacity of a constitutional head, as the capacity of a prime minister, why are you not making a distinction then? Then you say, no, this is campaign season. Everything is all fair because he's saying it as the capacity of a BJP campaigner-in-chief. In this case, it is Mamata Banerjee who's also the chief minister, who's also the head of our party. You are the head of a party whose entire election data, election strategy is being stolen in front of your eyes illegally by political espionage, by political loot, by Enforcement Directorate, who has no business coming in there. If they have got something to give, let them send a notice on the coal scam to Pratik Jain. What has Pratik Jain got to do with the coal scam? And where was I-PAC when apparently the whole coal scam was going on? Do you think anyone believes this kind of rubbish? You had Himanta Bisa Sarma, who was in the Louis Berger case. You had Shuvendu Adhikari. You had Ajit Pawar, who was in a 70,000 crore scam. You had Narayan Rane. What happened? What is the ED doing with all these people? And after 7 years, in the middle of SIR, in the middle of our election strategy, you are coming in and trying to take the documents and trying to take the data of the Trinamool Congress. And you're trying to tell us that we are obstructing you. You are robbing our house. And Mamata Banerjee is the only person, Preeti, who's got the guts to stand up to this kind of BJP thuggery and BJP loot. Everybody puts their tail between their legs and runs. Himanta Bisa Sarma ran. Praful Patel ran. Ajit Pawar ran. Nobody has the guts to fight the ED and the CBI. We are the only people who take them on head on. And that's what they're scaring. If we have done something wrong, why did ED not file an FIR yesterday? If Mamata Banerjee has destroyed evidence and obstructed justice,
Ms. Moitra, let me ask you this question.
ED should have filed an FIR.
But the
Why did they not file an FIR? Yeah.
But the Enforcement Directorate has gone to court, like you have gone to court,
Yes.
like the I-PAC has gone to court, and the Enforcement
Why
Directorate
have they gone
also
to court? Why have they going to go
for
they have
obstructing
gone
of
to court.
evidence by
They
the
have gone
TMC
to
and the
court.
Chief
We have
Minister.
gone to court also. We have gone to
But-
court also. 1 minute. We have also gone to court. We have 3 cases that are going to court is not the main thing. We have gone to court, but we have filed an FIR also. West Bengal police has filed 3 FIRs against the ED. That you have come in, you have taken our proprietary information. Why has the ED, the first thing, if you're going on to an investigation and somebody comes in, if the police is doing its job and somebody comes in and stops it, the first thing the police does is to file an FIR that you're stopping a public servant from doing their job, A. B, obstruction in the way of investigation. C, destruction of evidence. Why did the ED not file an FIR? Why are you going to the court first? Because you want to hide under the fig leaf of the court, because you are dead scared that people see the truth and this will politically backfire on you.
But Ms. Moitra, the
That's
Enforcement
exactly what
Director
the
has
ED is
also
scared of.
claimed
We are
that
not
the
scared.
court
We
could
file
not
FIRs
even
against
hear
everybody.
the case today because there was so much confusion and chaos caused by the cadre of the TMC.
The High Court of Calcutta is perfectly capable of taking care of itself.
But the case was suspended because there was too much chaos in court today.
Right?
No, ma'am.
So the High Court has given another date. The High Court is completely, how many, one minute. How many cases, if the High Court is going on, the High Court is fully capable of looking after what happens within its premises. We have seen what happens when the Enforcement Directorate has been hit on the head over and over again, repeatedly by the Supreme Court, saying, what are you doing going in here? Every single day, the Enforcement Directorate is hit on the head by the Supreme Court, rapped on the knuckles, saying you are overstepping your jurisdictions, you are doing things where you have nothing to do, where there is no confession, where there is no nothing, you're doing anything you like. Who is the ED to speak on behalf of the court?
All right.
If the court has got something to say, the court is very well equipped.
All right. So, it was suspended today because there was way too much chaos, which was caused by the cadre of the TMC.
To be the High Court speaker.
Okay. Ms. Moitra, let me just get you down to the charge. On what is the charge? There are PMLA rules that apply. PMLA we can contest as a draconian law. No, Ms. Moitra, where the charge is concerned, we can contest that PMLA is a draconian law, but the ED is well within its right to act under the purview of the law of the PMLA, which it did. Now, the charge as per the ED is grave, where they say that money was funneled, coal scam money was funneled through I-PAC to fund your campaign in the last election of Goa. And it doesn't just add up there, because Abhishek Banerjee has also been sent multiple notices by the ED where the coal scam is concerned. So the ED is saying that we are trying to close the loop.
All right, so 1 second. So the ED is called Abhishek a total of 19 times. The Goa election, if I remember, was in February 2022. We are now in 2026. We are in the middle of the Bengal election, which is a hotly contested election, which the BJP knows very well that it's going to lose. The BJP has looted Haryana, has looted Chhattisgarh, has looted Maharashtra, and also after doing SIR in Bihar, they want to come in and do something absolutely spectacular in Bengal to disturb everyone, to make sure that they can get their foot in the door. They thought SIR will be that weapon. They find that they can't do it with SIR because we are obviously on the ground. So what are they doing? They are trying to come in on the last minute. Tell me something. If they are indeed following the is this not grossly improper and highly suspicious that on the eve of the election, in a 4-year, the Goa election was 2022. It's taken you 4 years to suddenly discover that Pratik Jain was funneling coal scam money. It's taken you 4 years to discover that. And Himanta Bisa Sarma, whose everything was filed in the Louis Berger case, is today Assam Chief Minister. And Ajit Pawar, 70,000 crores, Amit Shah himself said that isko to 70,000 crore ka scam hai.
Ms. Moitra, you're making a fair point.
And Amit Shah said. And
no,
today
Ms.
he is
Moitra,
Deputy Chief Minister and holding it in...
No, ma'am, you're making a fair point which you can protest. No, I'll add to it, because what we've actually done is in the last 10 years, we've gone through each and every election that has taken place in the country, and we have seen that save two elections...
98% of ED cases are against the opposition.
Right, but you can protest that. And with
98% of ED cases are against the opposition.
Right, so what we have seen is save two elections. Action has been taken by central agencies against opposition party, whether it's been incumbent or in opposition to the BJP, and it's happened 2 or 3 months before election. It's open to contest. You can come here and you can thread the chronology and you can ask questions of the central agency and the government. But what many would suggest is sinister, is if a constitutional post comes in the way of a central agency dispensing their duties, because then you set precedents. Tomorrow, what stops any other chief minister of coming in the way of a central agency?
Preeti, what precedent are we, Preeti? Which world are we living in? Preeti, we are living, what are you talking about? We are living in a world where the ruling party and the government has broken down every single institution. Where there is no rule of law, they have broken down every rule, every institution, every institutional mechanism has been systematically decimated by this government. Whether it is choosing the Chief Justice with a panel, by choosing the election commissioner where you need the Chief Justice, they've removed him. Whether it's choosing the head of the CBI, every single thing. Look at the UAP.
But by that argument, you're playing in the same field then.
Every single amendment they have made. They have, hear me out. No, you need to hear me out. So when the ED acts like this, when they use agencies to do illegal things, are we going to sit back and be eaten up by them? I'm sorry. I'm not naming other parties, but we are not like the other parties who keel over and bow to the BJP. Trinamool Congress is different. Mamata Banerjee is different. We are made of different metal. The BJP is not going to darao us and dhamkao us, and we are going to sit there and be the monkeys out of. You come into our house and try and rob us, you have us to deal with. We are responsible for the people of Bengal. You are cutting 58 lakh votes. 1.34 overnight are going away in logical discrepancies. You have no answer. You are hiring a private agency from Gujarat to go door to door to get data. And the Chief Election Commissioner is telling us, I'm not even aware of it.
But Ms. Moitra, do you agree this is dangerous territory then?
Contest with the...
This is dangerous. Okay, do you agree then that this is dangerous territory? Do you now agree at least that this is dangerous territory? With the it is dangerous territory.
We are living in dangerous territory. We are Preeti, we are living in dangerous territory ever since 2014, where we are dealing with a fascist government that has broken every constitutional rule in the book. All we are doing now is protecting us and
federalism is a two-way street, ma'am.
Protecting our party in a democracy. A secularism is a two-way street.
Federalism is a two-way street. You speak about federalism. Mamata Banerjee is the first one to talk about...
Yes, of course federalism is a two-way street. So federalism is a two-way street, which is why under everything, when in federalism, what would happen in federalism? When agencies came in, what would they do? What would the CBI first do? That they would come in, they would work with the local police and come in. What have they done? Every single federal structure they have systematically destroyed. What have they just done with Manrega? They would have to pay, they would pay 100% of the wage cost, and they would pay 75-25 state and thing. What have they done with this new VG RAM bill? They've made
The
it
argument-
60-40. So for a state now, where it was paying 750 crores, has to pay 4,000 crores.
But Ms.
You are
Moitra,
telling
the
us
argument-
about federalism. They've
the
destroyed
argument
the federal
is-
structure. It's only because of a few leaders like Mamata Banerjee who are there.
But it's not just happened, Ms. Moitra. The argument is that Mamata Banerjee and the TMC has resisted central agencies right from the word go. And there's a whole chronology to it. You can go all the way back where the dharna for the police commissioner...
Of course we will resist the central agencies. Has the... one second. Of course we will resist them. Of course we will resist them 100,000 times. Because they are not central agencies. They are puppets, they are dalals, they are political espionage tools of the Home Minister and the Prime Minister and the BJP and the ruling government. Of course we are going to resist them. What do you think we are? What do you think we are? We think we are Ajit Pawar. You think we are Praful Patel. You think we are Himanta Bisa Sarma. That we are scared of being in jail and we are going to go running after them the minute they threaten us with a danda. Look what they did to me, Preeti. They sent me CBI, ED, everything. Today they are sending Pinaki ED notices. What are we supposed to do? Cow down or fight back? We've had enough of their nonsense. We do not get our power from them. Let the BJP understand this. The BJP gets its power from their agencies. Mamata Banerjee gets her power from the people of Bengal. The Trinamool gets its power from the people of Bengal, and we are committed and duty-bound to protect our party and the people of Bengal, and we will do whatever it takes to protect our information and our electoral strategy to win the 2026 elections. Whatever it takes.
Ms. Moitra,
Mamata
let me ask
Banerjee
you
is
one...
a tigress, Preeti. Nobody else would have had the guts to do this, let me tell you. Nobody else.
Well, the point is it's unprecedented. And so let me end with this question. Ms. Moitra, do you agree it's unprecedented?
Of course it's unprecedented because we've never dealt with a situation.
This will set a precedent.
We have never dealt with a situation where a fascist government has destroyed every opposition. That's also unprecedented. Yeah, because we've never had a fascist government that is hell-bent on destroying every opposition party. That's also unprecedented. So when you have unprecedented situations, we have to fight with unprecedented means. What are we supposed to do? Just lie back and get shot. Is that what you're suggesting?
All right, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moitra, for taking the time out and joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, the BJP has stepped up its attack on Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, raising pointed questions over her conduct during the Enforcement Directorate raid. The party alleges the Chief Minister personally intervened at the site, which is unprecedented, asking what she was trying to conceal when she removed files from the residence of the I-PAC chief Prateek Jain. The accusation has intensified the political slugfest, with the BJP calling it a serious breach of law and procedure. Earlier, I spoke to BJP senior leader Swapan Dasgupta. Listen in. All right, joining me right now is senior BJP leader Swapan Dasgupta. Mr. Dasgupta, thank you for speaking with us. It's been a while. We've seen you on television. Hope you've been well. Mr. Dasgupta, first up, what do you make of what you're seeing today on the streets of Kolkata? With what happened yesterday of the ED action, now a massive political flashpoint where you have Mamata Banerjee once again questioning the credibility of central agencies.
I think there are two significant developments today as far as West Bengal politics is concerned. Of course, Mamata Banerjee taking to the streets was a very predictable response they had. But equally significant, in my view, was the fact that today, the hearing of the Calcutta High Court on the petition moved by the ED and, in fact, and even the TMC was suspended because of a general fracas in the courtroom, which was done entirely by the TMC. So, there's a vested interest they have in ensuring that the court hearings are delayed as far as possible, gives them that space to go and behave like a martyr, feign martyrdom on the streets. You see, what is necessary as far as Mamata Banerjee is concerned, and here I agree with your correspondent who said it earlier, Mamata Banerjee, for a various number of reasons, was on the back foot. And she now feels, in her perception, that she can move to the offensive and, if not galvanize the whole state, at least galvanize her own committed supporters. And this is precisely the same game she's doing. Remember, in the last election, she tried to, in the 2021 election, she banged her foot against the car door and made a big show out of that. We went around in a wheelchair and all that. So all those dramatic very much. As far as the assertion that, Bengal is above the rule of law and follows the rule of jungle and that's the new normal. I mean, that's also an assertion which she's trying to make and which I think will have to be vigorously contested by every single individual, every single political institution and the legal institution of this country. Because what took place yesterday in Calcutta was an affront to the rule of law. Earlier we have said, we have noted by the governors noting that the rule of law has been replaced by the law of the ruler. So yesterday was a classic example of that. That I don't like what the ED is doing, so I'm going to forcibly use my political, moral, and constitutional authority to physically prevent it and make a show of actually taking away the documents in a car of her own choosing. So it's not something we've heard. Imagine if she gets away with this. Can you imagine what the hideous implications of this for any future action which any government agency might want to take? I mean, this is like saying that if a person is accused of some heinous crime, including terrorism, they can actually take the law into their own hands and defy the police, and there is and justify that course of action. So I think the implications of what took place yesterday have to be viewed very, very seriously. Of course, it's a political battle which is being conducted on the streets of Calcutta. It's a more legal battle which is being prevented in the High Court. But all these together, I think, are going to make a big difference in how Bengal is governed in future. At present, I think, in every respect, it's a very shameful day for Bengal.
Mr. Swapan Dasgupta, you bring up the time when the last elections when Mamata Banerjee had banged her foot and then we saw the plaster. But having said that, that evoked immense amount of empathy and sympathy from her voters, and we saw how that election panned out. But that way, nobody's taking away from the fact that Mamata Banerjee yesterday, being a constitutional post of a chief minister, barged in where investigations were being conducted and took away files which could be incriminatory in nature. Nobody's denying that. And, that is something which the TMC and the chief minister is answerable. But there are two other questions on the sidelines, Swapan Dasgupta. And Mr. Dasgupta, first one to touch on, you've had the BJP West Bengal handle, which is the social media handle. You've had the BJP opposition leader. You've had the BJP at the center come out in strong defense and an offensive on Mamata Banerjee. At the back of the EC raids, many are suggesting it's for of the ED raids. Many are suggesting it's for the ED to answer. Why is the BJP taking up cudgels for the Enforcement Directorate?
Well, it's for the ED to answer as to what exactly they were investigating the I-PAC officers. What they were investigating as far as Mr. Pratik Jain, his name is, that's what his name, as far as they were concerned. But I think the larger issue, which I think the BJP handle, as I saw it, put forward, was that there is a rule of law, there are certain constitutional norms, and that this has been violated. I don't think it's for the BJP to comment on the merits or the demerits of the case itself. That is for the ED to actually present before the people on to the courts and do that. So I don't think the BJP has any locus standi as far as that is concerned. But the BJP, just like any other ordinary citizen of West Bengal as well as India, has the right to comment on is the fact that the constitutional norms, the rule of law, was violated recklessly, brazenly, and with pride by a person who is the chief minister. Now, whether that is tantamount to a constitutional breakdown, which Mamata Banerjee, in her own wisdom, might want to actually project perversely, is another matter. But, the ED's fight is not the BJP's fight. The BJP's fight is a political fight. The ED's fight is a legal issue.
But Mr. Dasgupta, for example, what possibly gives Mamata Banerjee the confidence to do what she did yesterday, and no way can anyone justify what she did. But that confidence could come from the fact, and I'm only quoting data, just on the source of journalistic inquisition, we took out 10 past elections that have happened. In fact, we took out data of all elections that have happened in the last 10 years. And saving 2 states, Mr. Dasgupta, every state that has gone into election has seen action by investigative agencies on the opposition party, whether it's in the opposition or incumbent government to the BJP, face action by central agencies 2 to 3 months before elections. It's practically nearly every election in the last 10 years.
Well, thank you for pointing out that, and I'm sure that's a very interesting observation. But what I want to point out is that as far as I can make out, and what the ED has said, that these raids yesterday were in connection with a coal scam, a hideous scam which took place. It's been almost about a decade now. It's been in the thing, and it's being monitored on a regular basis by the courts. So it's not something which has happened overnight. Now you may say, why did they leave it to the last minute? I mean, that's a question anyone can ask. But there are issues which are there. There are investigations which are in the offing, and there are investigations which center on both I-PAC as well as the nephew of Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee. So, I'm stunned by the silence of that gentleman on this thing, because there are a lot of people who would say that this has something to do with him. But those are allegations. I'm not actually making a final assertion on that. But I would say that the BJP is fighting this election on its own. It's a political fight. There is a separate thing called the ED, which has its own agenda, which has its own brief, and its brief which they fulfill. And I don't think we should confuse that. If anyone in the BJP is making the connection that ED is what ED and the BJP are working hand in glove, I think they're making a very serious mistake. That's not the issue at all. Political fights are political fights. The Enforcement Directorate is the Enforcement Directorate. CBI is the CBI.
Mr. Dasgupta, for a moment now, if you could pull away from being a leader of the BJP and a part of the Bharatiya Janata Party and wear the hat of a political watcher and analyst that you have been as well, how do you think this will pan out? You gave us the example of what happened the last time around when Mamata Banerjee banged her foot. She got into a cast. Many would suggest that was the first instance that election turned in her favor. Do you think this could also be that move, which an adversity is going to be turned into an advantage by Mamata Banerjee to galvanize voter base?
Well, she's definitely going to try. She tried her level best as far as the SIR was concerned. She tried to make that an issue, which said that, people are their names are being willfully excluded, which is not the case. I think we can fairly assume that the final rolls haven't come out. But the exclusions in Uttar Pradesh, the exclusions in Tamil Nadu are far greater than that of West Bengal. So that's not really the case. But there are significant deletions in things. And she's been wanting to make that into an issue. Now she's trying to make this into an issue. But against that, there is the weight of anti-incumbency, which is there. And that anti-incumbency is based on one of the two facts. One is that a record of corruption, but much more significant is that West Bengal's economic decline has been so terminal that it's really, in one sense, fallen off the economic map of India. A state which was number 2 in 1947 is today almost at the bottom of the league. And that is something which particularly the young people, they feel very strongly that there are no opportunities in West Bengal. Calcutta, for instance, which was once a vibrant city, has been more or less turned into an old age home. So those sort of the lapses, these after 15 years, Mamata Banerjee's record of governance leaves much to be desired. And I think she's trying to overcome some of these deficiencies by creating certain emotive issues. And I think this is just one of them. Whether it'll succeed or not, we have to see. It'll also depend on how well the BJP plays it, how well the elections are. How well the BJP manages the elections, etc. But yes, this is certainly her endeavor. This is certainly her endeavor.
Let me ask you one final question before we let you go, Mr. Swapan Dasgupta. You say how the BJP manages it, that remains to be seen. Let me ask you, you've been a BJP leader. You come from West Bengal, where you've seen BJP, rise from a complete not to an impressive opening, which was in the last election. This time around, where does the BJP stand? Many would suggest that there's a fair amount of confusing messaging. You have Samik Bhattacharya, who's your state president, who's been considered a moderate voice, and then you have somebody as hawkish as a Suvendu Adhikari. Many feel that this is very conflicting messaging.
Well, I think the messaging, if you really look at it, there has to be multiple messaging in any state. There's never, BJP is not a party which has a supreme leader in the state. There are various leaders in the state. Shomik is a very old, Shomik Bhattacharya is a very old, tested, tried veteran of the party, who has a very poetic way, a very eloquent way. His public speeches are, in a sense, very Bajpayee-esque in their style of delivery. And Shuvendu, on the other hand, is much more pugnacious, to the point, and, much more fierce. Both have a place in this battle. And both of them appeal to different constituencies, but those constituencies are complementary. They have a very basic aim, which is to get the BJP back from being almost a non-entity into the center stage of West Bengal.
Fair point. Do we see you back in a more prominent political role, Mr. Dasgupta, soon?
I've always had a political role in West Bengal. I've always played it. Sometimes because of pressure of work, I'm in Delhi, but I'm very much there in West Bengal.
All right. We hope to hear you more often as the election comes near. Thank you, sir, for taking the time out and joining us in India today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
To unpack the legal and the constitutional fallout of this escalating showdown, we earlier spoke to senior advocate and Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi. All right, let me take the first question with Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Mr. Singhvi, you call it coercion, you call it weaponization of central agencies. But on the other hand, what about the charge of a constitutional post like the Chief Minister barging into an office where investigations are being carried out by a central agency and leaving with files?
Preeti, let me put it in context. Things are contextual and inferential. Nobody writes to you saying, I'm doing this or that. You have to infer things. Now, just look at this and consider the overall context. This, by the ED's own statement, and remember, I'm saying ED's own statement, is related to the Anup Maji case, and their own statement dates it to 2020. So my question number one to common sense, before to myself and to your viewers, is, in a 2020 case, in 2025, it is 2 months before the election or 3 months before the elections that you raid, don't question, you raid the principal political strategist of a party. One. Now, add up all the things. One straw doesn't break the camel's back. Look at the coincidences. You do not do this before. If you had some material, you could have questioned him. In fact, the normal route is notice questioning for 5 long years. And just on the cusp of elections, you do it. His status is that of a political advisor. Now, there is, and Ms. Mamata Banerjee has not gone there in capacity as Chief Minister. She's gone there as the tallest leader of a party. Of course, she's always been very spontaneous, a bit over-connected with the ground. So she may have done in emotional sense. But she suddenly finds that data involving her candidates, involving exchange of very sensitive political strategy. And let me tell you, this strategy includes whom to fit where, which ticket to give to whom, which alliance to have. And everybody knows. Tell me one thing, Preeti, in 75 years, you've had non-Congress governments, you've had Congress governments, you've had BJP governments, many. You've had JD governments. Has anybody thought on the cusp of an election to revive a 2020 case of Anup Maji by raiding the principal chief political strategist? Congress has one known person, I won't take his name. Tomorrow, just before some election in Telangana, you go and raid him. You don't give him a notice for questioning. What is the emergency? What is the emergent exigency? It is obviously political, camouflaged as law enforcement. The man is not he's not a absconder. He's not a normal criminal. He's not an offender. He's not a repeat offender. He's a professional. Now you may have, I mean, nobody is, grudging you some investigation, but this is not the way to do it. And all that she has done is she has sanitized the political information. You can collect what else you like. See, main information for ED in normal investigation, Preeti, is bank accounts, is bank data. It's the background information you collect first. You are taking away en masse things which must have, and this is what I will call the hot period. The hot period is before the election. Every information will be there.
Okay.
So this is the context you must see it in.
But, you point to a context. And let me also say, one can raise the question, even us back here at India today, me and my team went back 10 years, all elections that have taken place, save 2 states, we have seen that 2 or 3 months right before elections, there is central agency action against the opposition parties or the incumbent government if it's not the BJP. But having said that, Dr. Singhvi, there is a larger question here. You might say that she acted in capacity as the chief of a big political party. She holds a constitutional post, and federalism is a two-way street. She's the one who's constantly evoked that federalism is in danger. To go ahead and what clearly seems to be obstructing a central agency for carrying out its work, how does one explain that, sir?
No, there is no, you see, that's the point. It depends on what is happening that you will use the word obstruction. Now, in a normal criminal investigation, you'll give a notice, you'll call me, you'll interrogate me. You tell me one thing, have they interrogated this gentleman even once? Again, you must look at the context. 2020 case, have they called him for questioning even once? Why in January before March and April? That's a question I must ask repeatedly. This is not the very timing, the scope, the targets it reveals that it's a political assault. It is not normal and correct and legitimate law enforcement. And, frankly, you can always separate completely, but the financial and the political information. But you are here en masse trying to take away, has to have political information of a sensitive nature. She may, I mean, she maybe different people do it different ways, but she has every right to protect her political information. Now, this is an unseemly thing, and let me tell you, you said 10 years, Preeti. I agree with you entirely. It has never happened before 10 years. You are having this time and again in states. Tell me a single friendly government, for any reason, suffering such adversity just before elections. It has happened earlier in different contexts. Leaders have been picked up. This time it's even worse because it's a political analyst. But leaders have been picked up, arrested. Which government of any political color, including BJP, has done this earlier? This is not democracy. This is vendetta. And this is a bad precedent for the future. No government is there for
But Dr.
eternity.
Singhvi, like I said, federalism is a two-way street, and you say, and you talk of setting a bad precedent. No, you talk of setting a bad precedent for a sitting chief minister to behave in the manner that the West Bengal chief minister has behaved. That doesn't behove of somebody who's holding a constitutional post.
She has gone, Preeti, completely in her capacity as the leader of a party. She has not gone as chief minister. Now, it happens to be the case that she's also the chief minister. She has not done any obstruction except taking what she believes is political information and walked away. She has not said you can't go here and there.
Dr. Singhvi, you question, the question is of the timing of the agency acting. Are you questioning the efficacy of the case? Because on the other hand, you've had someone like an Abhishek Banerjee, the nephew of Mamata Banerjee, who's constantly, have been sent notices that he's thumbed his nose at from the Enforcement Directorate regarding the coal scam, which ties into, as per the ED, on the investigations that are being carried out at I-PAC.
You are absolutely right, which is a very strong point in favor of what I'm saying. This is an intersection of, at the most maximum, against the dispensation in West Bengal, an intersection of cattle and coal scam, right? Let us take it. Mr. Abhishek Banerjee has been questioned umpteen times. He has been harassed. Summons have been issued. He's gone to court. I have appeared. And you have got orders. That is why it is important to read the statement of ED on the first day, I think yesterday or day before. It links it. It says it is legitimate policing for the Anup Maji case, which opened in 2020. Now, in Anup Maji case, you have done with the interrogation of Mr. Abhishek Banerjee. Have you interrogated Mr. Jain? Even once in 5 years. Comes along the election of March, April, May, and you suddenly come in January without an interrogation, without a notice, without calling him for summoning him for questioning, and you enter the house and the office and start collecting data. So ultimately, these have to be inferential. You have to read between the lines.
But Dr.
Now, we
Singhvi,
understand-
you know, I mean, you're a lawyer, but many would think that under PMLA, the ED is well within its right to act in the manner that it has acted.
That's the point.
No, sir. And the question also being, because the charges are grave, the ED alleges that it is scam money of coal loot that has been funneled through the I-PAC to feed a campaign of the TMC in Goa.
Okay, now let us look at this. It's very serious. It's emergent. I have to raid you. I can't question you. I have no time for questioning you. What have they recovered? Very clear there is no recovery. It's very serious, will be reflected in the bank accounts. And if it is funneling for a Goa case, Goa elections are neither in the near future, they were quite a while ago. If it is funneling money for some other Anup Maji scam, that was in 2020, 21, 22, we've done innumerable cases of Mr. Abhishek Banerjee himself. Where is the connect for this month? And he's a professional. You don't suddenly land up on the professional in this humiliating manner just because he's closely connected. Every party has strategists, professionals.
But Dr. Singhvi, you know it better. That's the nature of the PMLA.
No, the existence of power does not justify its misuse. PMLA means that I can arrest you anytime. Does it mean that it's justified? No. Please, let's get it clear.
Okay.
The existence of a legal statute is the existence of a power. The exercise of power is very different from the PMLA. Nothing to do with PMLA. PMLA doesn't tell you that the exercise must be on the cusp of an election. PMLA doesn't tell you that every raid on every political person near the election is somehow always related to the opposition. PMLA doesn't tell you that you cannot do most of the things with a prior notice and with a prior checking of the bank accounts. This is exercise of power. Please make a sharp distinction. This is a malafide, vendetta-driven exercise of power which has nothing to do with the text of the law. The text of the law doesn't say anything of this sort.
Dr. Singhvi, the ED will have us believe today that what you speak of, the exercise of power, was exercised today at the High Court in Kolkata, and the hearing couldn't take place because there was some abject chaos by Mamata Banerjee's TMC cadre.
Well, I would not support in any form, you, me, or anybody else disrupting any court proceedings. I don't think this will continue like this. There will be sanity and peace. Sometimes I think cadres are themselves so emotively, exercised that you may have a outpouring which is disproportionate, and that should be controlled. I will not hold a brief for saying that you can enter a courtroom and disrupt. But I think this should not be repeated, and there should be a fair hearing. I mean, this is ultimately one side will get some idea of the other side's point of view.
Dr. Singhvi, let me ask you one final question before we let you go. Somebody who's as astute as you are in the reading of the law, if you were to legally advise Mamata Banerjee, would you have advised her to barge in to a building, despite of it being I-PAC and her consultancy, and take away the files that she did in the manner with which she did?
Preeti, first of all, I don't give unasked advice. Secondly, if I do give unasked advice, I don't reveal it on television channels. Thirdly, it is privileged advice if and when asked, and in what manner asked. So you can rest assured, over a cup of coffee, we can discuss it privately, maybe.
But you did give it away. But Dr. Singhvi, you gave it away right in the beginning where you said she made an emotional decision.
No, I know the Chief Minister. As a human being, she is, very connected to the grounds. She is, I think, rooted more than possibly any other elected leader or very few others like her. And she has a direct communication with her people. She has felt outraged. There is no doubt about it. And she has gone as a leader of a TMC. She has not gone as a Chief Minister. This much I can say. Nothing to do with advice which I give her or not give her.
Okay. All right, with those 3 exclusive interviews, it's a wrap on the show this evening. You have yourself a fabulous weekend. We're going to see you Monday, while, of course, the spotlight on West Bengal and even Tamil Nadu. 2 very separate stories brewing, and we continue to track them. Thank you for watching.